Alright guys, today we're going to be reacting to Tom Holland's dietary approach and what he typically eats. So let's get into today's video.
So right now I am actively trying to put on as much weight as possible. So for me, a cheat meal is actually a really good thing. So I have cheat meals all the time, to the point where I can't even
Imagine that. Every meal is a cheat meal. What would you guys think of that? Would that be enjoyable? Do you think that's sustainable? Let's get into it.
I don't even call them cheat meals. They're just really meals.
For him, a cheat meal is a regular meal. Now, typically most people will have a cheat meal maybe just on the weekend, Friday nights, Saturdays. But Tom Holland apparently has a cheat meal every meal. Let's get into it.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Tom Holland, and today I will be talking about my diet and how it informs my training.
Mind you, just real quick on this, if you do eat a lot of cheat meals, you will find that your energy and pumps in the gym do actually improve initially until that point where you start to actually become a little bit like insulin resistant, and you start noticing that your pumps in the gym and your muscle glycogen isn't actually as good as what you want it to be. So we'll get into this.
My philosophy behind my diet is that my diet is far more important than what I do in the gym. I would say...
So interesting here, Tom Holland says diet is more important than training in order to attain or obtain an amazing physique. That's interesting. I'm curious to hear what you guys think of this.
I would say for me to see results, it's 80% diet and 20% fitness.
80% diet and 20% fitness. Interesting. I would say that that ratio is slightly skewed. I would say personally 60% diet, 40% nutrition, because you could be eating really well, but you could also be training like without any proper techniques, and or you're overloading incorrectly, things like that. Technique, things that would affect physique development. So it's pretty interesting here. If you're someone that's been trialing different supplements and you're still lacking that energy, spark, drive, and overall vitality, then you may want to check out my brand new supplement that I've just released called Catwa Pure. Catwa Pure harnesses the power of a particular Amazonian herb known as catwaba bark, which has been used for centuries to boost mood, enhance energy levels, and act as an aphrodisiac. So definitely check out Catwa Pure. You can learn more by visiting inbeforesups.com.
I try to be strict and healthy. I travel a lot, so I find it really difficult to get into a routine of cooking for myself. But yeah, so
anyone who travels a lot will know that eating consistently and well on the go is absolutely really difficult. Like, it is challenging. When I went to Europe last year for 3 months, on a holiday, I was really struggling to get into a routine. If you're always moving locations, it does make it really tricky. And I also think anytime you get on an airplane, it actually exacerbates leaky gut, and it actually causes inflammation in the gut because you're at altitude in this pressure chamber. It is not natural to be flying that often.
But yeah, so dieting, I wouldn't call it dieting, but eating healthy is a big part of me staying in shape. I'm always trying to have a healthy amount of vegetables, and when I say healthy, I just mean a lot. My girlfriend's a vegetarian, which is really helpful because it means that more often than not, I'll be having a veggie meal. But yeah, I'm mindful about what I eat.
I just want to mention there, women that decide to go on a vegetarian diet are very likely to suffer from, well, there is research on mental health disorders, and also how being on a vegetarian diet can actually lead to severe nutrient deficiencies such as iron deficiency, B12 deficiency, which can lead to mental health disorders. So be careful if you decide to go on a vegetarian diet, because I don't think most people who do don't do it well, and most people who do, particularly guys that I work with, they end up coming back with low testosterone. So not a big fan.
Typically for breakfast, I will have a bowl of porridge with a bunch of fruit and nuts, accompanied with a shake. The reason I do that is I like to get up early and I like to get the day started. And if I have to cook something, I feel like it really slows down the day.
So I get it. The convenience factor of making a shake and porridge with like nuts and fruit. It's easy, it's quick, it does deliver a decent amount of carbohydrates and fats. But in terms of keeping you full, most people don't stay very full from that for many hours. It might keep you full for 2.5 hours, but typically what will happen is the blood sugar spike will go up, and then you'll see a pretty dramatic come down, and that will lead to appetite increase.
Slows down the day. The berries give me a bunch of fiber. The nuts give me the fat stuff.
Nothing wrong with the berries. I'm a big fan. Polyphenols support gut health, all that good stuff, brain health. The nuts, obviously, a lot of them have good fats as well. No issues with that.
The fats that I need. And that, I feel like, sets me up for a great day. The carbs from the oats give me that nice, long-lasting energy.
Fair enough. For him, it actually gives him a long-lasting energy. For guys that are a little bit older than Tom, they would actually probably not notice the long-lasting energy. They'll find it actually provides an acute boost and they can't actually stabilize their blood sugar.
I go for a double-double with raw onions. I don't like their fries. I don't understand why their fries taste like cardboard.
So I personally think that French fries are good food to make you mentally sluggish, to reduce your energy levels, to make you feel lazy, and to lower testosterone and hormones. I'm not a fan of French fries.
So I'll go for 2 double-doubles with raw onions. That's my order.
So the raw onions, there is literature actually demonstrating beneficial effects of onions on testosterone production by influencing luteinizing hormone secretion, the quercetin component of the onions. So personally, I think he's doing something really good here by adding in extra onions. And, I'm a big fan of consuming onion. I have them quite often as well.
I take supplements depending on my fitness goals. So right now I'm on a pretty steady flow of creatine and protein. I also take a protein.
When I talk to most people, if they're beginners, they literally say the exact same thing. They say, yeah, I'm just taking creatine, fish oil, vitamin D, the basics. But if these guys knew about some of the other compounds that are out there that can actually help with body composition, recovery, nootropic effects, like they would seriously love these compounds. First of all, they don't have time to research this stuff. And secondly, they're just, I guess, they lack the awareness. They think that most supplements on the shelf, which is fairly true, are just crap and garbage. You need to know what you're looking for. You need to know what dosages to use, and that's really what I'm trying to do here on my channel, is educate.
The hardest thing I've done in terms of dieting for a role is somewhat a contradiction to what I've been saying throughout this interview, but I cut as much weight as I could for a film called Cherry. Incredibly proud of that movie. It's one of my favorite and best experiences I've ever had as an actor. I was trying to keep below 500 calories a day. I was working out like a crazy person. I was dropping weight really, really quickly.
Hang on a second. He said
I was trying to keep below 500 calories a day.
below 500 calories a day. Guys, I would never ever recommend that. It is not sustainable, not safe, in my opinion. And most people will see huge issues with their health if they do that in the long run. I guess in the short term, maybe that might be beneficial to cut specifically for this role, but for the general population, not a huge fan.
Today, I was working out like a crazy person. I was dropping weight really, really quickly. I then did it again for a TV show called The Crowded Room, and I've kind of vowed to myself now that I'll never do that again, just because it's not worth it, and it can actually promote quite considerable health concerns.
He's smart. He's spot on there. He knows that if you do it, you're going to lead to health risks and complications in the long run. So respect to Tom Holland for even recognizing this and admitting that as well.
I wouldn't do that again. There's a whole bunch of different things, really. The thing I've been cooking the most, because it's a really easy thing to batch cook, and it's also really good for me with what I'm trying to do right now, is I do a chili but with lentils rather than a mince.
A lot of people, when they consume lentils, they find that it causes the same issues with vegetables, which is bloating, flatulence, gas. Some people will say they can digest it completely fine. This is an individual response. So maybe Tom is actually able to process it fine and he's got good stomach acid production, pancreatic exocrine function, things like that. But I would say that maybe majority of the population would struggle to actually break down lentils properly, and they notice digestive discomfort.
It's very flavorful, it's really tasty, it's healthy, and it's ultimately full of all the things that I need to put some weight on. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Fair point. Proteins, carbohydrates, minimal fat. I mean, you can add the fat with other things, but yeah, protein and carbohydrate, that's basically what it is. And fiber.
My favorite carb is potatoes. I absolutely love potatoes.
It's funny how Tom Holland's a huge fan of potatoes. I'm curious to know how he feels after he eats potatoes, whether or not he has actual energy or if he feels sleepy and lazy.
My favorite protein would either be cod or chicken.
Both cod and chicken are excellent sources of protein. I'm a big fan. So this is pretty interesting seeing Tom Holland's dietary model. I think it's pretty balanced. I mean, I'd say it is pretty decent advice, or I guess guidance for those looking to structure their nutrition. What do you guys think? Actually, let's leave the comments down below what your thoughts are on his particular dietary model. That's it from me today, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.